Welcome to my channel, Bread of Knowledge. Today, let's dive into understanding the idiom, beat around the bush. My name is Obulesh, and without further ado, let's jump right in. Beat around the bush. No, we're not talking about someone having a boxing match with a shrubbery. This classic idiom, often used in everyday conversation, has a rich history and some pretty amusing applications. The phrase, beat around the bush, is believed to date back to medieval hunting practices in Britain. Hunters would send beaters to hit bushes and flush out birds, rather than directly approaching the game. It was a way to stir things up without confronting them head-on. So, the term essentially means to avoid the main topic, to delay or avoid getting to the point. Imagine you ask your friend if they enjoyed the movie last night. Instead of a straight answer, they tell you about the popcorn, the seats, the trailers, and finally the weather on the way to the cinema. You'd probably think, why are they beating around the bush? This is a perfect example of someone avoiding a direct answer. Let's bring this idiom to life with a few comical scenarios. Interviewer: so can you tell me about your strengths? Candidate: well, I have this amazing cat. She's fluffy, and her name is Whiskers. Last year, Whiskers won a pet contest. Speaking of contests, I once participated in a spelling bee. Please, stop beating around the bush. Timmy, what is the capital of France? Oh, that reminds me of this amazing baguette I had for breakfast. It was crispy on the outside and soft on the inside. And speaking of breakfast, did you know that breakfast is the most important meal of the day? Timmy, stop beating around the bush and answer the question. Avoidance. Sometimes, people avoid the main topic because it's uncomfortable or they don't want to confront an issue head-on. Politeness. In some cultures, being direct can be seen as rude. Beating around the bush can be a way to ease into a conversation gently. Nervousness. People might beat around the bush when they're anxious or unsure of how to respond. Storytelling. Some people just love to tell stories and can't help but add unnecessary details. In emergencies, direct communication is crucial. Imagine a firefighter explaining the history of fire engines instead of just shouting, "Get out of the building!" In business, clear and concise communication is key. Your boss doesn't want to hear about your cat's antics when they've asked for the quarterly sales figures. In relationships, being honest and straightforward helps build trust. If your partner asks if you did the dishes, don't start a monologue about the history of dishwashing soap. Stay focused. Stick to the topic at hand. If you find yourself wandering off, gently steer yourself back. Be prepared. If you know you'll be asked specific questions, prepare clear and concise answers in advance. Practice direct communication. This doesn't mean being rude, it means being clear and to the point. Practice with friends or family if you need to. Ask for feedback. If you're unsure if you're beating around the bush, ask someone you trust for feedback. They can help you identify when you're veering off course. Other cultures. Different cultures have their own versions of this idiom. In Chinese, there's a phrase that translates to drawing a snake and adding feet, meaning to complicate something unnecessarily. Literary examples. Many classic literary works feature characters who beat around the bush. Shakespeare's plays, for instance, are full of characters who talk in circles. Movies and TV shows, comedic characters often beat around the bush to hilarious effect. Think of Michael Scott from The Office, or Chandler Bing from Friends. Their roundabout ways of speaking often lead to laugh-out-loud moments. Let's try a fun exercise. Next time you're having a conversation, be mindful of whether you're beating around the bush. Try to identify the main point and get to it directly. It might feel a bit uncomfortable at first, but with practice, you'll become a more effective communicator. You can also challenge a friend to have a straight-talk conversation where neither of you beats around the bush. It can be a fun and enlightening experience. So, there you have it. The idiom, beat around the bush, might sound like something out of a medieval forest, but it's very much alive in our modern conversations. Whether for avoiding uncomfortable topics, storytelling, or simply because of nerves, we all do it from time to time. Remember, while it's sometimes okay to beat around the bush, there are moments when directness is crucial. Learning when and how to be straightforward can enhance your communication skills, making your interactions clearer and more effective. Thanks for joining me on Bread of Knowledge today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the idiom, beat around the bush, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below if there are other idioms or topics you'd like me to explore. Until next time, stay curious and keep learning. That's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this comical yet informative exploration of beating around the bush. This idiom, like many others, adds color to our language and helps us communicate in unique ways. Stay tuned for more fun and educational content on Bread of Knowledge.